Hey everybody, it's Snobz. I'm Keith,
And I'm Jason.
and we are in for another round of customer wrapped rolls. As you can see, we've got a little bit of everything, and we're going to go through them, see if we can find anything.
Yeah, should be pretty. And it's a pretty good variety of different kinds of wrappers too. So we'll see. Probably several customers here. So maybe this will be a collection dump. Who knows? We'll check it out. Be right back with you. All right, guys. So I figured I would do a quick, somewhat brief overview of some of the things that we found. First off, this is the full tray of goodies. Okay, we'll kind of skim through them real quick. Lots and lots of mid-state quarters, a couple of clashed quarters, some 2009s, a couple of them in really nice shape. That one there is in really good looking shape. The 2009, I believe that right there, that 1999 Delaware is a spitting horse, but we'll take a look at it under the scope to confirm it. Another nice 2009. A Chinese coin, I believe. American Memorial Park. Unfortunately, it's a Denver, but, you know, it's a nice looking coin. Some more 2009s. Some of the pennies. And then this is a transit token, I believe, that Keith found, which is really cool. Kind of a rare thing to find. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, bridge token. Passed off as a penny. So that's kind of cool. Some nice looking mid-state pennies. Canadian penny. Some Wheaties. Canadian penny. This here, I'm not sure. This might be a burnished quarter, but I have a feeling it's probably damaged. But we'll check that out. Extra Claw Alaska, which seems like we find more with the extra claw than without the extra claw. Some 2009 Lincoln cents to go through for the error. No, there's a couple different errors on those. Those right there, the formative years, I think those have like 8 or 9 different variations of a double die on the hand alone. A few dimes. Our pre-1959 nickels. There is a war nickel. And then this one I set off to the side in a special area because that could be, I thought that might have been a double die. But anyways, gonna check these out with a fine-tooth comb under the scope. I'll show you guys the more interesting ones, the cool ones that I discover in this pile. And also we have our second NGC submission coming up. So I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, some of these really bright looking quarters might be going to NGC. But of course I'll put that in a separate video so we can all take a look at them really close and see if we can figure out what grade they're going to catch. Anyways, alright, I'm going to scope these suckers and I will show you the good ones. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at what we've got. First up, we've got this beautiful war nickel. 1942, 35% silver. Love finding war nickels. And you can always tell, too, because of the alloy that they have with the 35% silver. After they wear for a little bit, they kind of get this dark, almost like gunmetal look to them. So you can almost tell from the edge when you pop open a roll that you've got a war nickel, which is pretty nice. San Francisco Mint Mark, got that great big S above Monticello. And of course, since this is a 1942, this is the first year. Actually, the first year was a half year. They have a Type 1 and a Type 2. Type 1, of course, is the regular nickel alloy that they have with pretty much every nickel before and after. But 1942, the latter end of 1942, the Type 2, until 1946 through 1945, they had the 35% silver. So yeah, Not a bad looking coin. Circulated, of course, but it's silver and it's a nickel. $2019 Denver. New coin, but not in very good condition. I mean, it's not terrible, but you know, it's got some scrapes and bag marks. All the usual suspects on it. But it's got a little bit of struck through. Nothing too crazy. Until you get to right there. Now that to me looks like it was struck through debris. In other words, instead of being struck through polishing grease, it was struck through, you know, some kind of a piece of metal shaving from something, or, you know, something like that. But very neat and very unique. And let's go to the pennies. This one's not really anything. It's 2003 Denver, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys an example of some of the weak strikes that happened from 2000 to about 2004. Not uncommon to find where you have most of that last digit missing, most of the mint mark missing. Liberty's struck pretty well, and God We Trust is okay. Excuse me. And then the reverse, also a weak strike. So I kind of wanted to show this to you guys so you don't really get it confused with what would be like a struck through grease error or something like that. That is simply just a weak strike, and it's extremely common from 2000 to 2004. So we're going to throw that one back because it's not really anything interesting. Show you guys this bridge token, which is really cool. Established 1934. I'm sure this isn't from 1934, but it's neat. And I mean, we found out in a penny roll. Let's see what it says here. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware River Joint Toll Bridge Commission. So we got a bridge token. And we know it's a bridge token because it says bridge token. Good for one passage. Commuter token. Something different. Onto the dimes, we've got another 2019 D coin. But you can see there's quite a bit of struck through right here. Kind of hard to tell when it's on the actual bust of the coin. If you see it up close and in person, you can see it's kind of shiny. And then the reverse, this is a little bit easier to see because this is in the field. Right here. All in this area right here, this is all struck through grease. It looks kind of rougher, but at the same time it's much shinier. And you can actually tell that it's a little bit lower than the rest of the field. That is struck through grease. So pretty cool. $2018 Denver. Kind of neat looking metal flow towards the edge of it. It's starting to turn a gold color. But it's also got a little die crack right here. Kind of in the top back of his head. Right about there. You don't see a lot of die cracks, or at least we don't see a lot of die cracks on the obverse of dimes. We see quite a few on the bottom of the torch. You know, places like that, but not usually going through the top of the head like that. And it's a pretty good looking coin. And then this guy right here, let's see, what year is this? 2019 Denver again. Not in the best of shape, but right here, to the right of the torch a little bit, to the left of the torch, you can see what looks like a die crack. However, this is not a die crack. This is actually where the feeder finger, which is the little finger with a little cutout, sort of like a half moon cutout on the very end of it. That feeder finger, its job is every time a coin is struck, that feeder finger is supposed to eject the struck coin, and then a new blank planchet is loaded for striking. sometimes when the machine is a little bit maladjusted, that feeder finger will scrape the bottom of the die. And when it scrapes the bottom of the die and it leaves this little scrape right here, naturally that imprint is transferred over to the coins that it strikes after that. So this is a little scrape from a feeder finger. And the easiest way to tell, obviously, in dimes is they're always going to be in this position. They're always going to be going from east to west, and they're going to be perfectly straight like that. Die cracks can be fairly straight, but not like this, and not in this area. So that's feeder finger damage. And it's got a little bit of struck through, so it almost looks like it was damaged. The mint worker noticed it, probably tried to polish it out, and didn't get all the polishing compound out of the coin. So this coin is awesome because this coin has some stories. Very, very, very cool. You don't find a lot of them with feeder finger damage like that either, so it's a little bit odd. Then we got a 1969S proof. And I think Keith found this one. I think this is the first proof dime that we have found in circulation. As you can see, it's been circulating for quite a bit. It's not very pretty. I mean, you can tell by looking at it in person that you can still tell that it's obviously a proof. But to the untrained eye, they're going to spend that because it's pretty well hammered, pretty well scratched. But she's a proof, so we love her. And we've got, let's see, this is 2005 Philadelphia. A little bit of struck through right there in the front of his face. And in the front of his mouth. And then I believe that to the left of the torch is damage. But also a little bit of struck through down here, kind of in the same spot as that other one. Right there under the RIB in pluribus. Kind of hard to tell on this scope. Yeah, right about there. So that is another error. And then let's move on to some quarters. 2008 Alaska. I'll bet you know what's going to happen here. Yep, die chip. Right there, the little extra claw. And we do seriously find more of these with the die chip than without the die chip. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but whatever. Pretty common condition to find in circulation. I mean, we probably have a half a coin tube of these 2008 Alaska quarters with the extra die, or the extra claw. Almost looks like there's a die chip below his eye there too. So I'm going to set that aside and take a closer look at that later. And then I thought I would share with you guys the worst struck American Memorial Park that we have seen thus far. This is an extremely old die. Actually, it's an extremely old die set. They're both the obverse and the reverse are in about the same condition. But I mean, this thing is awful. And like we've talked about before, the mint will use a die literally until it breaks. And that's pretty much what they were doing here. The metal flow is ridiculous on this coin. Look at that. The flags are the worst part. I mean, it almost looks like waves on a shore. Yeah, that's crazy. Talk about getting your money's worth out of a die set. I suppose that's what they're doing here. But that's going back. Because that's not really anything. And then, let's check out this guy with this giant die crack. And of course, it's a Philadelphia. Giant die crack going between the mint mark and the R and dollar all the way through the bottom of the bust. And I think it travels all the way... Yeah, it terminates right about here. Unfortunately, it was kissed by the old coin crimper. Again, an old die state, got metal flow around the letters that people can mistake a lot of times for a double die, but it is not. Terrible metal flow right here. Well, pretty much all of the E and we is missing. But, die crack. And it's a Georgia. A hammered Georgia. That Georgia Peach has seen better days, for sure. That's going in the die crack pile. Then we have a 1985 Denver. And looks like the reverse almost looked like it was a little bit of an older die state than the reverse. However, we got some struck through grease here. Right above the arrows, close to the wing. Nice and deep. And then this right here, at first I thought maybe that was some sort of debris that had been struck through that got between the planchet and the die when it was struck, but I don't think so. I think that actually is damage, and of course crimper damage, because any cool coin that we find seems like 50% of them have crimper damage. So yeah, struck through grease. Goes in our error pile. Denver struck. Not sure what the reverse of it is yet. We'll find out together. But lots of struck through grease here behind his head and above God, In God We Trust. Little bit in front of his eye right here. And then the reverse, I think, is pretty clean, other than being circulated. Yep. Doesn't have the little die chip in the canoe where it looks like a rock fell in it. I think we've found one of those, but it's kind of neat looking. And then we have another Denver struck coin. Older die state, as you can tell by the waves. All the metal flow towards the edge, but not bad. It's holding up pretty well. That is a 2009 Puerto Rico in really good shape, better than you'd expect to find. And I wanted to show you this one because not only is it in decent shape, but it has a little bit of struck through grease right here between or below the E and the N in Encanto. So it's in good shape. It's a 2009, so it's a lower mintage, and it has some struck through grease on it. All in all, not a bad coin. A 2018 Cumberland Islands with a really strange struck through error. This is weird because this almost looks like bubbles and then like a little piece of metal, almost like a, I don't know, some kind of a metal wire imprint that had been struck through. However, this is definitely not damage. I looked at this coin for probably about an hour and obsessed over it because that's what I do, is I look at coins most of my day. And it's really different. I mean, we've found coins kind of similar to this, where it looks like there's almost bubbles. Maybe there was bubbles, some kind of liquid trapped between the die and the planchet. Maybe something was left over on the planchet for manufacturing. Don't know. But it's an anomaly, so we'll keep it. And we'll do some more research on it and see if it's worth anything. But at either, I mean, again, it's coin collecting, so at any rate, it's worth something to us, so that's what makes it important. Okay, and then we've got a 1985 Denver. Not very pretty at all, but a little bit of struck through here on the edge. Could be a weak strike, but it looks more like it's probably struck through grease. A little bit of grease left over on that hammer die. And then on the reverse, same idea. That right there isn't a weak strike. That's definitely grease that had filled the die. And I say that because the top of the E and the top of the S are pretty well struck. It pretty much just stays right here. So that has been struck through grease. And I think the moral of the story is to take a really good look at pretty much every coin that you find. I mean, I put every coin that we get in circulation under the scope to make sure we're not missing anything with just a plain old loop. Keith does the same thing. He'll bring his over and we'll check it under the scope, or he'll do it at home. Philadelphia Strike, 1999, Delaware. And from what I can tell, this is a spitting horse. Let's see if I can get the angle just right with the light. But you can see a die crack coming from the horse's mouth down, actually even between the A and the O in Caesar Rodney. Yeah, it's kind of easier to see right there. There we go. But yeah, so that's a 1999 Philadelphia spitting horse error. I think this is the second one that we found in circulation, maybe the third. But it's a cool die crack to find. And then let's end it off with this foreign coin that I found, 2010, 100 something. And at first I thought this was Chinese, and it is not. I put it under Coinoscope, which is a pretty cool app that you can get on Google Play, or you can get it on the Apple Store. But anyways, you literally take a picture of it, and it'll tell you what the coin is. So instead of China, this is from South Korea. Pretty plain looking coin. I'm not going to call it artistic. I mean, it's kind of just meh. But, I mean, we found this in the United States, so she's got a story. But, yeah. So that is the cool stuff that I wanted to throw under the scope and show you guys. Alright, before I wrap this up, guys, just wanted to thank you all for checking it out. I know this was kind of a longer video, but we had a fair amount of interesting things to show you. Didn't really pan out with the Mint State quarters and National Park quarters that we had kept back. Not that they're not Mint State and beautiful, but the juice just isn't worth the squeeze when it comes to sending them off to NGC. They wouldn't really be worth enough to compensate for the, $20 plus to get each coin certified. So we'll hold on to them, but not going to send them off to NGC and spend the money for those. Also want to talk to you guys a little bit about possibly subscribing, liking this video, hitting that bell if you do subscribe. I was checking out our analytics for our channel, and over 50% of the people that enjoy our videos aren't even subscribed. So if you'd like to, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications. We upload videos every 2 to 3 days or so. That way you guys will get notified when a premiere is coming up for our channel. But until I see you next time, guys, love you all, God bless, and have a great day.